Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Here on the Morning Drive, good morning. With Clint Scott, who's in for Jamie, and Ben Portman, who's in for Jeff. I'm Chuck Heinz. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It is presented by Happy State Bank. So really the one on field question I want to know today, and maybe we'll know it. I think we will, because I think he wants to tell us. Okay, I think he wants to tell us. Is Will Hammond trot out there with the first team, snap number one against Abilene Christian?
Man, you start hearing stuff behind the scenes and starts, rumors flying about, Chuck. You start to wonder if, hey, the pace that they keep on talking about, maybe even better than what we were told. I don't know if we'll get a week one. Hey, he's coming out there, snap one, week one. But he's going to talk about Will Hammond. How do you not talk about your starting quarterback, right? And I think even if Sorsby was there with the team, he still would have talked about Hammond because he likes to do a good job of when he starts with a position, he usually runs around the room. Mm-hmm. And then Will Hammond was going to be an important piece as your main backup, also coming off an injury, but now he's the guy. I'm with you. I think that I'm with you on the part he's excited to tell us about what the status is and what the expectation should be of when we'll see Will Hammond. And I think he'll give that today.
And so here's my question to you is he going to, in the spirit of Coach Kingsbury, be the guy that trots out there to start game one?
I don't think he will be.
You don't?
I don't. I think we'll see Kirk Francis, and I think we'll see Lloyd Jones. I don't know if it's a 50-50 split. Chubb Jones.
Chubb
Jones.
Okay.
Chubb Jones.
And he's
Great
got a
nickname.
rocket for an arm.
And, Chuck, I don't know if I realized this until seeing some of the depth chart that we got from Don Williams and the AJ a couple weeks ago, where he's your biggest quarterback.
He's a big dude.
I mean, he's 6'4", and measurables are one thing, right? It doesn't mean that you're just, you are the best quarterback. You should be the one over Kirk Francis, anything like that. I didn't realize how big of a frame he has, but I do think that they really like what he brings to the table. I think what holds him back as far as who would it be as Will Hammond's main backup, or if it's not Hammond in week one or week two, who is it? I mean, it certainly seems like they're leaning towards Francis just from the experience side of things. Mm-hmm. And I do think, though, that if it's not Will Hammond and you're like, why are we not seeing Lloyd Jones over Kirk Francis, right? And you're really, upset about it or in a tizzy, I think you'll see plenty of them in those games if it is Kirk Francis, because I think that it will be, it'll be an equal opportunity sort of couple of games between those two guys. And who knows? There's a lot of time from now when you get into, your summer camp and fall camp stuff for that to change between those two guys. But at the end of the day, I don't really care between the two who it is, as long as you're not having some sort of monstrosity of a game, and I don't think you will. I don't think the defense will allow you to do that, or the running game will allow you to do that.
Against ACU?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just...
You don't think we're going to see a repeat of 2 years ago?
No, Maverick, I do not.
McIver, in there with basically, hey, Maverick, if you just run the ball, man, you win the ball game. Boy, wouldn't that have been a disaster?
If you are a fan having to be puckered for an entire game this year against ACU, you're not winning the Big 12. You don't have to worry about going back to the college football playoff. You don't have to worry about we're going to score a ball. You don't have to worry about any of that.
Now I'm puckered when I walk in for Abilene Christian on.
If you do that against Abilene Christian, it is not going to be the kind of season you want to have. But what I'm getting at is, between those two, I really don't care, because I'm just more concerned about what does Will Hammond look like. Two things, obviously coming back from an injury, but also he's still developing as a young quarterback. And I think that is something, I'm not saying we should be freaking out about, but I feel really good about his talent, but I'm not sure if that's being talked about enough. Whenever you see Houston in week 3, regardless if he's played a game before then or not, that's going to be a tall task. I think you'll win that game, but I don't think it's going to be just, hey, let's roll out of bed and go beat Houston.
Yeah. No, it can be a challenge. When you think about, and I think for me, I just would love to see him come out. So I was going to give you the Lloyd Jones, the third numbers real quick. Redshirt freshman, 6'4", 215. And my guess is he's going to gain some weight on that too.
I would think so.
Yeah, he's going to add some weight to that frame. By comparison, Hammond is 6'2", 210. And if you listen to what the tea leaves say and what basically people have commented on, he has increased his body frame in terms of strength and size, added some muscle. So how much he weighs, I don't know. Maybe they'll adjust that roster. And then Francis is 6'2" and 200, but he's the guy with the experience. And so I think what I would like to see is I'd like to see Hammond just get knock a little rust off, maybe get popped once or twice, not in the legs, but just get football hit, right? And then get to a point where, okay, we got a 21-point lead here, and there's no reason to play him. So we're going to put Lloyd in, or we're going to put Francis in, or we're going to put Holden Phillips in, or somebody that just to kind of because here's the thing, if Hammond goes down, you really don't have anybody. I mean, to be QB1, right? And with Sorsby at least, you had Will Hammond, who was available if Sorsby goes down.
Hey, you know who took quarterback snaps in high school? I think two guys from your running back room. I think both Cam Dickey and Jacoby Williams.
Yes, right.
Quarterback snaps.
We could
Wild Raider. Here it comes.
We could have a Wild Raider. We could have a little wing tee. We could have Wishbone. We could have a Wishbone. Could go back to Oklahoma days, and have a little. All
four of the Jacob Rodriguez plays from last year are now being run by Quentin Joyner.
Okay. Have the triple option back for all we know.
Sure, we could. We could do all of that.
I mean, if you're able to do it, and I think they would only do it obviously if it was safe enough, cleared, whatever. I'm with you. I would much rather see Will Hammond in either of those games again before Houston, because that's. I mean, it's easier said than done, again, to just roll out there and say, hey, I know you have been dealing with a knee injury. I know while that's happening, you've been trying to figure out what do I need to work on to read defenses, to take the next step as a quarterback, whatever. And in your first real game action since Oklahoma State, when you tore your knee, run out there against a 10-3 squad from last year. That brings a bunch of production back and feels pretty good about where they are.
Probably the best thing is with regard to Hammond and his recovery. I mean, because look, everybody's going to recover different from the ACL stuff. I mean, we're seeing magical stuff from Mahomes. We're seeing what we think could be magical stuff from Hammond. But I think at least he's been able to, at the very least, throw the ball to receivers. Since basically probably the middle of May, maybe even before that. Whereas last year and the last 2 years, really, your starting quarterback didn't get to work out with the receivers, and so you've got new guys that have coming in, or guys that maybe don't have the experience, but just being able to know how the ball's coming out of Hammond's hand or the other guy's hands, especially Hammond. For these new receivers, so they have an idea of what's going to happen once you get into the game, and you weren't able to do that the last couple of years with Morton just because of the injuries.
Yeah, I'm not worried so much about the chemistry with Will Hammond. I think there is something to be said on the other side of just, your receivers. I think you have a really high ceiling with that room, but there's a ton of unproven with that group too. Your best pass catching option is your tight end, which is not a problem because Terrence Carter is really good. And then you have Coy Aiken, who's been a proven guy for you and has been solid. But I'm not worried about the chemistry. I would say I'm interested to see what kind of step from your quarterback and then from a multitude of guys from your receivers, what's the next step for them and how big can it be this year for you? Because whoever ends up being from that receiver room specifically is going to be having a career type of year. And you need someone to do it.
Yeah, and Kenny Johnson may be the guy that the poster child for that, the biggest recipient of all of that.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Jeff is not here. Ben Portman is in for him. Today is 7/7/26.
And we start in
He's ready to go, man. There's no cuddling or anything. We're just
Ben, Chuck wants you to cuddle with him.
We're just ready to go. You ready to go, Ben? He's anxious. Okay.
I am. So we start in 1912. American athlete Jim Thorpe wins 4 of 5 events to win the pentathlon gold medal at the Stockholm Olympics.
Do you know who Jim Thorpe's biggest fan is in this building? I mean, and maybe in Lubbock.
Oh.
Maybe in Lubbock.
In this building.
Yeah.
Is he a member of this show?
He is.
Typically?
Yes.
Is he sitting where I'm sitting?
No,
Is he
not.
sitting where Ben's sitting?
Yes.
Jeff McGuire. Okay.
He is a defender and a big fan of Jim Thorpe.
That's a good one to be a big fan of. Yeah.
And that said medal was stripped from him in 1913 due to the fact that he played professional baseball. Mm-hmm. There is good news. It was reinstated in 1982.
And if Jeff were here, he would say, but it did him no good because it was reinstated to him after he was dead. And so, he,
It sounds like you've heard that before, Chuck.
Something similar to that, It's my best, imitation. It would be somewhat like that.
Fast forward to 1959 in the 26th Major League Baseball All-Star Game held at Ford's Field in Pittsburgh. A guy named Willie Mays triples to score Hank Aaron as the NL wins 5-4.
About that.
May want to go check out that guy, Willie Mays.
People thought Willie Mays was going to be the one that broke Babe Ruth's record, and he got close. He got to 600 before Hank did.
In 1992, in his second stint in the MLB and 20th total game, former Red Raider baseball player Donald Harris gets his first hit of the season in a 4-3 Rangers loss to the Brewers.
Donald Harris was a number 1 draft choice. I think he was number 1. Was he a first-round draft choice, Ben? I think so.
Feels that way.
Of the Rangers, and he played baseball here at Texas Tech. A terrific athlete.
A year later, in 1993, Lenny Dykstra hits a bases-loaded 2-run double to send the Phillies to a 7-6 win over the Dodgers in 20 innings in Philadelphia.
Lenny Dykstra. Man, what a train wreck.
20 innings, huh?
Lenny Dykstra.
20.
Donald Harris was a first-round pick. He was 5th overall by the Rangers in the 89 draft.
Sometimes if you're hanging around Optimum Game Day Live, it might have just been once last year. Sometimes you get a sighting. Great guy.
You see him, Donald Harris? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what game he was here for last year. Maybe it was the Kansas game?
Did you guys have him on?
No, we saw him. You know what? We saw him during Tech Talk. That's what it was the day before. And then we saw him afterwards with the Coors Light postgame show.
Okay.
There at the Overton.
At the Overton. Yeah. You never know who you're going to run into at the Overton.
Listen, it's coming up here in the fall. It's football season, right?
Right, yeah.
Those are coming up. But if you're able to go over to the Overton and say hi to Rob and Chuck, you never know who else you'll be able to say hi to.
That's right. That's right.
In 2019,
Poor Ben.
Poor me what?
Well, we just keep interrupting you.
Sorry.
That's how this goes.
It's not my show.
Okay.
It's not my show either.
I will tell you the same thing. Just here.
All right. We've established it's none of our shows.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. In 2019, the FIFA Women's World Cup final, the defending champions United States win to record the 4th title, beating the Netherlands 2-0.
How come we can do it with the women, but we can't even get close with the men?
That's a great question. I don't know if this is backed up by facts or not, but it feels like for soccer, when you're looking at just like pure athleticism, you get a lot of the better athletes with women's soccer where it is dominated by football and basketball on the men's side. Mm-hmm. And not that you don't have some of those best athletes also playing basketball, but it feels like it's a lot more evened out. And soccer just has never been that way on the men's side. That is my guess at it, but there's probably someone out there that could give a much more
I like it, though.
educated description. Or
I like it.
Because, I mean, everywhere else, it's the top sport, right?
Yeah.
And here it just never has been, so...
Yeah.
And Belgium popped off the screen like any other team I've seen after watching that game.
I mean, that just feels like karma yesterday. I mean, it just feels like that was karma.
I mean, all across the board.
Yeah.
It was an odd situation. It was an odd situation.
It's like, I just wish politics would stay out of sports. I mean, that's why we don't talk about politics.
Now, if you were to see some of my baby pictures, you would probably understand that I'm a huge, huge advocate for this. It is Chocolate Day.
Okay.
National Macaroni Day. And National Strawberry Sundae Day.
Okay.
Strawberry
Bring in all the sweets.
Okay. Are you a fan of the macaroni?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for it, and I like the fancy versions. I like when people say, hey, here's a little lobster mac for you or something like that, but I also like the blue box still to this day. So,
the blue box.
I understand what is higher quality. It does not affect my palate.
Okay. Ben, you're in on the macaroni?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Happy birthday to Ringo Starr, who's 86.
86.
Lisa Leslie, who's 54. One half of the Houston Rockets' Twin Towers, Ralph Sampson, who's 66. Chuck Knobloch is 58. And Nathaniel Lowe is 31.
Okay.
And in 1981, President Ronald Reagan announces his intention to nominate Sandra Day O'Connor, an Arizona Court of Appeals judge, to be the first female Supreme Court justice in U.S. history, pending her clearing FBI checks. On September 21st, the Senate unanimously approved her appointment to the nation's highest court, and on September 25th, she was sworn in by Chief Justice Warren Burger.
Okay.
That's this day in sports history.
That's this day in sports history. There's a very serious ending there to this day in sports history.
It's very a little ironic talking. Hey, we don't talk about politics.
Right.
That was good.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I love this because you never know what you're going to get with this show. The connecting points. You know, like you say something about this guy, and then this person's like, "Oh, he was my next door neighbor." Larry Hovis from Hogan's Heroes, who was Sergeant Carter. Okay, kind of a serious guy, but he was kind of plain and simple on that show. Taught our drama class at Southwest Texas State University. Surprisingly humorless, none whatsoever.
Huh?
Wow,
how about that?
Humorless. Yeah.
Had to have still been.
Boy.
I hope it wasn't disappointing. Like whenever you're like, "Oh, you're getting who's?
You're getting Sergeant Carter, from Hogan's Heroes," and you want to hear all the stories, right?
Yeah.
I love it when you know somewhat famous people kind of show up and kind of everyday kind of regular stuff. And you're like, "Oh, yeah, hey, that guy, yeah, he was this guy back in the day."
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. We got some of those people walking around Lubbock that are like that. That have had their moment in the spotlight, so to speak.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope it wasn't shock in a bad way that he was apparently surprisingly humorless.
Yeah, he was not randomly delicious, randomly humorless. 6:53 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We've got more to come. I want to ask Clint and Ben about what they think the position of most concern is. Okay, it may be obvious, maybe not. Maybe something that I have not thought of. And maybe what we might hear from Coach McGuire. He'll be on with Jamie and the gang at 10:30 this morning on 100.7 The Score. So don't miss that. Set your alarm clock for that. 10:30 this morning for Coach McGuire on 100.7 The Score.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
So we look forward to hearing from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Okay? And so we look forward to getting your thoughts and comments throughout the day today. All right, so Coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, we'll have Big 12 Media Day coverage for you. Rob Rowe and Jamie Lent will be on from 9 to 11. They're tag teaming this. Jamie gets the first few hours, and then he and Choice will take over from 11 to 1. And Coach Joey McGuire will join them at 10:30 this morning on 100.7 The Score. This afternoon, your flavors of choice, will be Rob and Brennan. Okay, then Rob
flavors
and
of choice, not choice at that time.
Yeah. Then Rob and Choice, then Choice and Jamie. Okay, and then Choice and Brennan from 4 to 5, and then Rob and Jamie from 5 to 6:30 from Frisco. So they've got the end of the bench, the bottom line, and Tech Talk all covered for you today from Frisco and from the Star there in Frisco. So look forward to hearing whom all they have on and what comes out of today's sessions. So that could be quite interesting. The way it works today. Let's see. I had the schedule right here. I'll get back to that. Okay. So here's my first question for you. What position group do you perceive as being the one that you? I hate using the word weakest, but I'm just going to use the word weakest. Which one is the weakest in your mind? Which position? Where if you'd had to go, that's the position I'm the most concerned about going into the season.
Man, so when you use the word weakest, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I think is like the weakest, because I do have question marks, but I don't think the receivers are the weakest talent wise. I think they're the weakest of being unproven. And I'm saying the wide receivers, obviously boxing out Terrence Carter and keeping him in like the tight end conversation, even though you're going to use him plenty as a receiver. But when I look at them, I see some guys that have been highly productive on either the FCS level or a lower level that are looking to do it in the Big 12 and then the Power 4 level. I look at like Kenny Johnson, who's honestly been very comparable, in my opinion, to how Coy Aiken has been used, where you don't like haven't had that superstar quality kind of year, but have just been like rock solid. And then I look at Micah Hudson and some of the other guys that you've brought in that are on the Power 4 level, but have not done really anything yet in their career. So it's all high talent, high capability guys. So I'm having a hard time using the word weakest with them, because if they nail it, right? If they have a stellar year, you'll look back and go like, all right, yeah, there's all the talent that I thought was in the room. But at the same time, you're looking around and you're going, all right, defensive line, you've got a lot of Power 4 Division I starts there. Linebacker, you're bringing two guys back, and then you added a guy in Austin Romaine who's an all Big 12 kind of guy. You have Bryce Pollock and Brendan Jordan in the secondary who are incredibly experienced. Amir Boyd, also experienced now, and I don't really worry about the safety spot, because at a certain point, if you keep recruiting the way that you're doing at a high school level, you're going to have like you're regenerating yourself, and that's what you want. And I think you have guys in that room that you're really excited about, so I'm not really worried about them either. Offensive line, I think, could take a big step forward. Running backs are maybe the crown jewel of the team.
Your thickest thieves is at running back.
Yeah, so it's like, well, I'm looking around at a certain point and running out of positions, and I'm looking at all of this proven, so it's either quarterback or it's wide receiver.
Okay, and I'm just going to say it's quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think, and I say that it's quarterback just because, I mean, let's face the facts. You don't know what you've got, because you've got a guy that's coming off of an ACL. You got a guy that you lost to the gambling stuff. And then you've got, a guy that you brought in from Tulsa to just kind of be a backstop, so to speak. And then you've got Lloyd Jones that you feel like is he's a block of stone that you're trying to carve into Michelangelo.
When we were going into that last break, you said maybe it's the obvious one. It is the obvious one. It's the quarterback. But, if you're looking at the next one, that's where I'm looking at receivers. But the quarterback is just it's massive. You are really testing how much, and it's an uncontrollable situation at this point. You're really testing just how confident you are with the room that you put together, because when you're saying the room, you were saying from the high-end guy that you were bringing in from Cincinnati, which, oh, by the way, Brendan Sorsby, we were banking on him having his best year, just throwing that out there, and would have benefited from having a much more talented team around him than what he had at Cincinnati. But that's beside the fact. You're really testing from top to bottom how good you actually feel about that room, because I think Will Hammond has an incredibly high ceiling, has a lot of talent, but again, there's still that the injury part, yes, is concerning to me, but there's still the side of what is he doing, how is he developing, again, as an inexperienced quarterback, and that's a big thing. And you, as we all know, you're a snap away from testing even further and going, okay, you've heard some nice things about Kirk Francis. I really do think they like the upside of Lloyd Jones, and they're just not like, when Mac Leftwich has talked about him or when Joey McGuire has talked about him, I don't think they're just putting fluff out there. But if it has to get tested, I don't think you're going to feel all that confident whenever you get into Big 12 play.
And this is a completely unfair comparison, but I'm just gonna throw out this comparison to you and see what you think. I think for the Chiefs to be uberly successful this year, and by now their standards, that's getting to and winning the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has to have a massive year, right?
Agreed.
But for Texas Tech, because of what you have surrounded that quarterback position with, winning the Big 12, you don't have to get a massive year from your quarterback.
Right.
Because of what you have around you. And then if you get to that, you win the Big 12, then you're going to the college football playoff, and then that's where everything starts to ratchet up a little bit, and hopefully by then your quarterback play will become experienced enough that you can give yourself more than a fighting chance in any kind of college football playoff game that you would play in.
Yeah, we have the same mindset on that.
Okay. That makes me feel smart that Clint feels like that I do.
I don't know if it should.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I love this song.
Happy early birthday, Chuck.
To the company store. Here on the Morning Drive. Clint, we get this. Spent a few days in Wichita last week. I'm sorry.
Oh.
If memory serves me correctly, you drive through Clint's hometown on the way back. Yes. Really enjoyed the trip. The Space Museum in Hutchinson was great. Yes, the Kansas Cosmosphere they've done an outstanding job with it. They have Gus Grissom's Liberty Bell spaceship that sunk. He was the second man in space, and it sunk when the hatch blew, and so it filled with water, and a lot of people said that Gus Grissom blew the hatch prematurely, that he panicked, but that was not the case. And then the further irony for him was that because that hatch blew, they, quote, fixed the hatch for the Apollo program, and it was the complexity of opening the hatch that kept them from having any chance of escaping the fire for Apollo 1.
Oh, wow.
And so he and two others died in Apollo 1 before it ever blasted off. It was just a test that night at the Cape.
I wonder if the texter enjoyed going to that or driving through Mullinville, Kansas more.
Yeah, on the way back, you drove through Mullinville. And then the other thing they have is they have the command module for Apollo 13.
Yeah.
So, and they've got a moon rock there. So they got a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like I said, they've done an outstanding job. If you're in, and the other place that has done an outstanding job that's within driving distance to us, if you're on your way to Oklahoma City and you see Tom Stafford's museum, it too is it is worth it. And if you're a pilot and you have the ability to fly your own plane, that you can land at Tom Stafford Airport there, and I'll tell you the name of the town here in just 1 second. And you can go through. It's a free museum, and it's Weatherford, Oklahoma is where it is. But it's right off. It's very easy. You're on 40, and you just exit, and you go across 40, and the museum and the stuff is there. They've got spaceships. They got MiGs. They got all kinds of stuff there. I mean, it's really, really cool stuff. So I'm glad that you went to Hutch and had a good. That's what the locals call it, Hutch, right?
Yeah,
Hutch. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times in my life I've actually said Hutchinson, Kansas. Just Hutch.
Hutch. Yeah, we're going to Hutch. Yeah.
You never know who you'll be able to watch play football in Hutch either.
Right? No, and the basketball has been outstanding there over the years, the junior college basketball. All right. Somebody says the Power Hour should hit strong this morning. I don't know, man. We've used a lot of Power Hour kind of stuff early on.
We got reserves
that you've missed out on. So we've talked about. And let me give you the schedule this morning for the Big 12 in terms of what is supposed to transpire here this morning. So they're going to have Brett Yormark is scheduled to speak at 10:15 this morning. Okay, so that could be very interesting to see what he's got to say, because I think people want to hear his thoughts on kind of what's going on with the status of college sports and college football, and quote fixing it if that's possible, and what they have talked about doing along those lines, and then just kind of hearing from all the different coaches today. So Yormark's going to speak at 10:15. Oklahoma State head coach Eric Morris is going to speak at 11. I meant to ask Craig this yesterday if he was surprised at, from Eric Morris's standpoint. And he was a glorified offensive coordinator here for Coach Kingsbury, then left to go to Incarnate Word, went from Incarnate Word to North Texas, and now is at Oklahoma State. I mean, he has really earned his stripes.
Yeah, I think so, and I think he's proven it. From he put up ridiculous numbers. Well, he didn't. Incarnate Word did under him, and then got the shot at North Texas and has backed it up. And you're going to. I would feel great if I were an Oklahoma State fan about the setup now, especially with what you're coming off of. Which, by the way, it's easier said than done, even with a rough ending, to replace the guy where Mike Gundy was Mr. Oklahoma State. But you bring so much continuity with you from a really highly productive North Texas offense. And so, I've seen some like, okay, well, will it be the same when you're on the Big 12 level? And, we have seen several cases where you have full team turnovers and you're looking at all of the new faces for regardless of how good you feel about the roster, and then fail because of the chemistry side. Well, I think having some of that continuity can help some of that, but you're going to test if the how would you call it, the orange wave instead of the mean orange instead of the mean green.
Yeah.
If they can take some of that magic that they had on the American from the American Conference to the Big 12, I think they'll be just fine. But Eric Morris, I think, would have been a really good hire for just about anybody. And if I were Oklahoma State, I'd feel pretty dang lucky that you landed him. I thought he could have held out and maybe gone to an even better situation.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
That's a pretty big jump, though, from North Texas to the Big 12.
Well, part of it is you got to strike while the iron's hot. We've seen coaches like that do that, hold out, and all of a sudden the buzz around them is gone, or it takes one bad year for that to get ruined. But I'm happy for him. I think I do think he's in a good spot too, and I think Oklahoma State has been hungry to be led by a coach that's also just not going to rub them the wrong way. And I do think Mike Gundy did that at the end of his tenure.
Yeah, he was prickly.
Prickly's a good way to put it.
Prickly. He was just prickly.
He was a man that was way past 40.
He was that 51-49 employee. 51 great, 49 not so much. And then he flipped. Mm-hmm. And then when he flipped, it's like, okay, man, you're wearing us out, dude. Mm-hmm. You're wearing us out, and you're not winning at the level that you were winning.
When you actively have a coach that's saying, look, I know what it takes to win in today's college football. I don't like it. Not only do I not like it, I'm not going to do it, and actively voice that I'm not going to do it. Like, how do you feel good about that, or have any sort of hope as a fan?
Again, he became that employee that you would tolerate those things for, and then all of a sudden, like, that could be you or me someday. Like, they may go, we have tolerated and tolerated and tolerated, and we don't have to tolerate it anymore. Here's your box. Here's your box.
Hopefully mine at least has some like tape underneath it, or something, some structure.
Willie Fritz, the Houston coach, will speak at 11:20, and he's been a late bloomer. I mean, he's basically my age, and it's not like he's not. Again, he has earned his spot, but generally speaking, you don't necessarily see 64, 65-year-old guys taking over Power 4 programs.
Did you see his quote on On3 a couple days ago? I went to Houston for the chance at a championship.
Okay,
he's a good coach. He's a really good coach.
I mean, he certainly put them on the map. Scott Frost from UCF will speak at 11:40. Dave Aranda, he'll get off the hot seat for just a moment. And
his last Big 12 media days.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I do. I think he's gone at the end of this year.
What about this one? This guy could have his last one today as well. Deion Sanders.
Yeah,
he'll speak at 12:20. Kenny Dillingham at 12:40. Kalani Sitake. We all now know how to pronounce his name, thanks to their success. Right? I mean, seriously.
It helps when you know who you're going up against.
When they came to the Big 12, I mean, you could have stopped a million cars at 4th and Q, and none of them would go. Then the head football coach of Texas Tech, Joey McGuire, will speak at 1:20 after Coach Sitake speaks at 1.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Yeah, I'm the one not named Jamie with your question, fellas, and our fine listening audience. And really, this is kind of a two-parter, because what I'm going to ask you first is your 6 senior representatives there for the Red Raiders Big 12 Media Days. You have Terrence Carter, Coy Aiken, and Sheridan Wilson on the offensive side of the ball. To the defense, you have A.J. Holmes, Bryce Pollock, and Ben Roberts. So the first question I'm going to ask, this is in honor of Lee Hunter giving us an all-time quote last year at Big 12 Media Days, calling himself the fat Steph Curry. Phenomenal. Which of the 6 players are you most excited to hear from through Big 12 Media Days, just to maybe find out their personality, or you like what you've heard from interviews? However you want to answer that. And then, this is the harder question, who is the most crucial for this year's team?
Wow. Of those 6. I think I'd like to get to know A.J. Holmes's personality a little bit, just to see what makes his motor run. What's he motivated by? How does he see himself? His role, all those kinds of things. Looking, I'm always more attracted to offense than I am the defense. It's probably not the best way to look at it, but I just think that if I had to rank these guys in terms of their importance to the team, I think I would go Terrence Carter Jr., A.J. Holmes Jr., Bryce Pollock, Ben Roberts, Sheridan Wilson, and Coy Aiken. I could also make a case that Sheridan Wilson might be the most important person on that offensive line, because he's got to anchor it and prove that they're better than what they've been.
He's the most veteran of the group. I mean, I know you have a veteran group just from age-wise, but I mean, it's his 3rd year starting at center.
So to answer your question, like I normally don't do for Jamie, A.J. Holmes Jr. I'd like to know the most. Terrence Carter is who I think is the most important.
Okay.
Ben?
I mean, I couldn't agree more as far as learning more about our players and just the personality that A.J. Holmes could bring. Like, I can see a similar vibe from him that we saw from Lee Hunter last year. And part 2 of the question there, Clint, I'll probably do my rankings as well, as far as, like, importance on the team. I too am going to start with Terrence Carter and A.J. Holmes, followed by Ben Roberts, then Bryce Pollock, then Sheridan Wilson, and Coy Aiken.
Yeah, so similar answer. A.J. Holmes is my answer as well for the one I'm most excited to hear from. And part of it, I think Terrence Carter probably fits into this too because it seems like he's got a big personality.
He does, I think so. Mm-hmm.
And I think I know what to expect out of Ben Roberts. I think you're going to get the very much Jacob Rodriguez effect where he seems very even keel and just, almost like a walking professional answer. And not that like having a big personality isn't. It's just I feel like you're going to get very like straight laced. This is what I think of the team or situation, whatever you're asking about with Ben Roberts. A.J. Holmes and Terrence Carter, I'm just trying to go from watching how they like celebrate with teammates on the field after big plays and things like that. It just seems like they might have the two most fun personalities maybe of the group. We'll see. Who knows? Sheridan Wilson might blow us all away. But I would lead with those two, and I'm just taking a guess without really knowing either one's person. That's what's fun about this is we get to know them a little bit better. And I think that was really fun last year with some of the new names that you brought. And you're bringing guys this year that we've all seen before, but maybe just not every single one has been behind the mic as often. But last year, you fell in love with that team to start because they were playing really well. But they also had a bunch of just likable guys, and we got to hear from some of those last year at Big 12 Media Days, and it was a jump start on some of those guys.
Sure.
And then even like just coverage through spring ball and then through fall camp and all that stuff, they were just a very likable group whenever you got to hear from them. I would go Ben Roberts for most crucial. Just because you're not going to replace Jacob Rodriguez with one player. And I think with Austin Romaine, when you saw him go in the portal, there were some people that are like, especially when you knew you were getting him, you're like, bang, there's your new Jacob Rodriguez. I don't think it's that simple. And I think for Ben Roberts, he's going to be wearing the captain logo there for a reason. I think what you're trying to replace past production for Jacob Rodriguez, which is going to be done through a team effort, you're also looking for that guy with a bunch of new faces. Who holds the team together? Who's the motor? It's hard enough to find that guy. It's hard enough to find a guy that's produced for a couple of years now like Ben Roberts is. It's a lot of pressure for him to do both again this year and be that glue guy while also being a highly productive linebacker and lead, hopefully, the best defense in the Big 12 and hopefully another easily top 10 unit across the country. So that's where I think I'll differ from you guys there, and I would go Ben Roberts. But you could make a case for just about everybody on this group.
Yeah. So we'll hear from everybody for the most part. I think today, they've got everybody lined up. I don't have the specific schedule, and those guys. Sometimes it's catch as catch can because there's sometimes you see somebody and you just kind of pull them aside and go, hey, do you have a moment? Can you sit down with? And who wouldn't want to sit down with Rob Breaux? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Who wouldn't look at Rob and go, that's a guy I want to talk to, right? Big personality, He's got his wealth of knowledge, and then steady Eddie, Jamie Lint, kind of just keep everybody in the ballpark, so to speak. And then got Choice Woodman there as well. He's a wealth of knowledge, and Brendan Riker is a son of a coach. He knows what he's talking about, right? Right.
I wasn't sure where you're going with son of at first, but yeah, son of a coach.
Yeah.
Son of a coach.
Son of a coach. He knows what he's doing. We send the smart people.
Yeah, I have confirmation that everybody's awake.
Okay.
I have confirmation, so we're not going to miss anything.
They all survived the night, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, I got a text at 7 from one of the ones we were most worried about with Rob. He is reined in.
Okay.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to go. He's fired up. It's getting fueled up, fired up.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Boots on the ground coverage from Big 12 Media Days there at the Star in Frisco with Messrs. Rob Breaux, Jamie Lint, Choice Woodman, Brendan Riker, stars of stars there to interrogate, interview, inform our listening audience after they've interrogated and interviewed the stars of the Big 12 who are coming through their location there in Frisco.
Ooh, I like interrogate. That's something else because, you're going to get all the Red Raiders. You're going to get head coach Joey McGuire at 10:30. By the way, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Double T Sports Network. If you would like to watch, it will be streamed live over there, uninterrupted. And I only say that because if you're used to watching on Fox 34 News now, you're going to get some World Cup kind of going in and out and bumping you off. So if
nobody cares about the World Cup anymore.
No, I don't know why it's still slaughtered for the TV. Like I said, the World Cup ended last night, but apparently they are. Yeah. I'm just being informed they are going on with it. They're going to play the rest of it.
They are.
Seems ridiculous. But if you want to watch uninterrupted, youtube.com/Double T Sports Network. And we'll also have all of the interviews up after it's done over there. You can see shorts and different clips and stuff like that.
Shorts.
Probably some behind-the-scenes stuff, too, I would think. See what kind of shenanigans they get up to in Frisco.
Okay, Jamie Lent stealing Mountain Dews from people.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's. This is from the Dallas Morning News. Here's the storylines that they see, the 5 storylines that they say that you're going to follow over the next couple of days from Big 12 Media Days. All right? First on the list, this comes as no shock. Texas Tech begins the post-Sorsby era. Which was his tenure was really short here. He didn't play a game, shocker, right? Mm-hmm. And so now the head coach will be asked about moving forward with Will Hammond. Okay, is he QB1? Will he be named QB1? He's going to be QB1, but is he going to be ready and good to go for the ACU game? Mm-hmm. And this is where we need the old Coach Kingsbury quote. Because he would be asked from time to time who the starting quarterback was going to be, because we had guys that were injured, right?
Right.
And Coach Kingsbury would always say, in his Kingsbury voice, which was really deep, you'll know who he is when he trots out there. I would love it.
It was like Cliff meets John Wayne a little bit in there.
You'll know who he is.
John Wayne or John Facenda there.
Just you'll know who he is when he trots out there. I love that. I mean, he was good with quotes, and he didn't even know it. Okay, Coach Kingsbury. All right, the other storyline: a glimpse at Oklahoma State's new look roster. I mean, they have revamped it. Okay, they have really done away with previous Cowboys and brought in new Cowboys. Okay?
Are you familiar with Our Lads?
No.
So it's a site and they're pretty good. They predict and then we'll go through the season where you can see the depth chart and you can go through pretty much any college football team. And the way they do it, if it's a returning player, their name will be in blue. If it's a freshman, it's kind of like a pinkish purple. If it's a transfer, it's orange.
Okay.
If you go and look at theirs, it's all orange up and down. It's everywhere.
Well, he did bring his quarterback with him, Drew Mestamaker, and his running back, Caleb Hawkins, and a linebacker, Ethan Weslowski. Now,
and a receiver, Wyatt Young, who was a 1,000-yard guy.
Okay, so we'll see if they can transition from North Texas and that level of competition to big boy football in the Big 12. Okay? Third on their list from the Dallas Morning News is Deion Sanders being at full health. He underwent surgery for bladder cancer. Of course, he's had diabetes problems with his toes and doesn't have all of them now. His team finished 3-9. What's his story look like? And then they've got a quarterback named Julian Lewis. He saw some limited action last year. Is he going to be the full-time starting quarterback?
Yeah, and he was I think depending on the publication you were looking at, he was one of the top quarterbacks in his class. And it just never has reached that potential. And, Colorado also bringing in a bunch of transfers again. This year it seems like, though, what they've done since he's been there is like, okay, failed Power 5 guys. Let's bring all of them in and see if it'll work. And this year, it was interesting reading an article. I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters, but could they be a little more grounded? Because it seems like they have found more productive guys on lower levels and not so much on like star power or this former 5-star stuff like that. So we'll see. It's been such a mess coaching staff wise, just from how they have coached and worked together, because there's been a lot of, ruffling of feathers between their own staff. It's turned over a bunch. And then you bring in like the health stuff. That's before you even get to Deion Sanders' health stuff, which, is terrible, but it is a part of the conversation.
Yeah, it has to be, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it absolutely has to be. And you just kind of wonder what his shelf life is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is he interested still?
Yeah.
And what does he what does he have to prove?
I'll say this, I was dead wrong. I didn't think he would be at Colorado by now, and not because like he quit or got fired or anything like that. But I guess not because he got fired, but because I thought he was just there until Shedeur was gone. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's hung around longer than I thought he would. Yeah,
and I think he's gotten some of the guys that were kind of his buddies or his kind of guys that were in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I think those guys have kind of fallen off the.
Well, and they've lost the buzz as a program.
Yeah.
Which was a big plus for them.
Who was the big guy that they had from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
They had Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp, yeah. Uh-huh. That's who I was
He was going around kicking.
Right. Yeah. I don't see him listed on the coaching staff or the support staff anymore. So
Pylons better watch out.
Yeah. Okay. Then also on this list is Dave Aranda. Can his new quarterback give the Baylor Bears a boost? Some would say that he was lucky to keep his job with the basically forced resignation of the previous athletic director.
Yeah, I would. I think if you weren't going through an athletic director transition, that you would have seen one of them being gone. And I think they went with the athletic director there, and because of it, they're like, well, we don't. Yes, and so for Dave Aranda's shelf life there with Baylor, I think it gave him a little bit of an extension, but he is on the shortest of leashes, and I'm not sure if I would want my eggs in the DJ Lagway basket as far as who's going to be the biggest piece that helps me retain my job.
All right, one more storyline. We'll discuss that next. It involves the son of a former head coach here at Texas Tech, because I think he's got some things that probably he's going to have to answer for what he said about his former school.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.